So, starting in the chair, let's just make ourselves comfortable and looking for a posture that's upright but that feels supported. Not necessarily the sort of final posture just at this point. If you know the final posture and you're comfortable in it, that's fine. But just give yourself a chance one way or another to settle in, to get that feeling, your weight beginning to drop, some of the tightness and stiffness in your body beginning to drain away, and just gently gathering your attention, your thoughts into your body through that awareness of posture and easing downwards so that we're principally aware at this point of hips, legs, feet, the weight of our body, and gradually extend the awareness out of that into the upper body. So just rubbing your hands together and warming your fingers up a little bit, and with the pads of your fingers tapping over your face. Now work up over your head and neck. Down to one shoulder. Feeling the muscles vibrating, your fingers shaking slightly, working down the inside of your arm, up the outside. And switch to the other side and start on the shoulder, and then into your arm. And then onto the upper part of your chest. Come down onto your belly, very light on your belly. And finally, your legs working down the outside of your legs, coming up the inside. Okay. Now, for the next one, if you can, come forwards. Just be careful you don't strain your back, but when you're forwards, be more aware of the support that you get from your feet, and that slight angle forwards so that your weight is in that space between your feet and your hips. And then just tilting forwards a little bit more, feeling your hips drop back as you do, weight going into your legs, and then your legs pushing back, bringing you back up. It's not a big movement. So if you look from the side here, I'm already a little bit forwards, about a third of the way forwards. And I go to about here, and I don't really want my head to sort of overextend. I don't want to go beyond my feet. So it's a relatively small distance that your head is moving, but it's an important movement. Feeling your weight distribution change between your hips and your feet. But still very much in that space so that you continue to feel supported. So the refining the posture and moving with that posture is an ongoing process in Tai Chi. It's really one of the key things that we want to focus on, to maintain. And if we do this, then in time, the benefits of that for our posture and our mobility, our general well-being, will sort of spill over into our daily lives. The way that we move, factors we take into account, become habitual to us. And when we move in this space, and again, it's that space, imagine your feet, your hips at the corners of a square. So when we move in relation to that square, then the flow of the movement naturally begins to develop. But if we try and impose a flow on the body when it hasn't got that support, it'll work for a little while, maybe, may work in some parts of the body, but we won't get this full experience of the whole body experiencing that flow, that sense of the energy moving through from the soles of your feet right into the crown of your head, the tips of your fingers. Coming back is your feet pushing down into the floor, but also to a certain extent your hips pulling you back. From the upright position, turn slightly so that you're now moving more of your weight towards one leg, making that distinction between what we would call the full leg, the one carrying the majority of the weight, and the empty leg. And particularly when we come to the standing exercises, this is a major view that really relates very strongly to the dynamic quality of the art, the movements that we make. It's one of the driving forces of the whole art. Turning the other way. And then rolling your pelvis around a little bit, drawing your head around in a circle, a smallish circle. You want the circle that your head is describing to feel as though it would fit in that square. And in between your hips and your shoulders, just feeling that quality of movement in your back and your spine. And then go back in the other direction. And back to the upright position. So we're very related to the foundation of the body, which in the case of the chair-based exercises includes the chair, of course, but hips, buttocks, feet, legs, providing the foundation on which our upper body can move. And all the time we're relating properly to that foundation, we're more likely to get the flow of the movement, we're more likely to release tightness and stiffness in our bodies. Now just shift to one side slightly and step out with the other leg, put the heel down, lower the ball of the foot, gently press in and back. Out again and back. Measuring the step so you're not straining to get the full step out there, and then from here tilting forwards, and again your weight moving forwards and back. And change to the other side. First of all, what we would call an empty step. You want to be able to gently press your foot into the floor to plant the foot without having to strain in your knee. So that will sort of limit how long a step you can make. And then easing forwards. That planting of the foot, that pressing in, is really important to give us that sensation of connection between the sole of your foot and the ground. Now, the same thing, but alternating from side to side, so just letting your body adjust to release the leg you're about to step with. One more time. So those last exercises, the weight transfer and the stepping, are the sort of engine room of all the other movements. So when we come now to the main body of exercises, and we're including the upper part of the body in that, we don't want to lose this sense of awareness, what's happening in hips, legs, feet, what's happening to our weight. Think of those movements as being the equivalent of, if you ride a bicycle, putting your foot down on the pedals. If you drive a car, it's operating the accelerator and so on and so forth. If that doesn't happen, anything else that happens is going to end up being strained. We're going to lose that flow through the whole of the body. So, hands down by your sides, turning your hands so the hands are palm forwards. And then easing forwards, rotating your arms so they face back as you do. And then a gentle push again from your feet, pushing you back into your hips. Bird folds its wings. See if you can just notice very subtle movements and changes in your chest and your upper back. As you go back and the hands turn forwards, there's a gentle expansion here, and then that contracts as you go forwards, and the expansion is between your shoulder blades. So we start to find that those basic movements, foundation movements coming from the lower part of the body, as they go into the upper body, we start to get a diverse range of patterns of movement, expansion, contraction. These are very subtle movements that are part of the continuity, part of the flow of the energy. And then movements that we can start to bring a degree of intentionality to. So with this one, for instance, going back to the chest, to start off with, we copy the movement that we see, and a lot of that's going to be movements in our arms. But intention becomes important here. And with the movement that you're familiar with, you can start to bring a degree of awareness and intention to these small changes within the body. I just mentioned the chest and upper back expanding and contracting, for instance. This means that the movements begin to build from the inside out. And that way we use more of the body, we encourage more of the flow of the energy. So this change of perspective starts to work for us. It does require maintaining awareness, because it's a deliberate, intentional quality that we bring to the movements. This time from the forwards position, leaving your hands facing back. As you come back, just letting your arms swing gently from your shoulders. This is fisherman casting out. On the side, I just demonstrate it with one arm because the back of the chair gets in the way. As I go back, notice how my hand gets sort of held back, and then as I settle into my hips, it swings through and up slightly. I go forwards, I settle into my feet, my arm swings through. Very soft in elbows, wrists, fingers. Maybe making use of this image of moving through water, an image that encourages to move as though there was just a little bit more resistance to the movement, but not a resistance that would ever cause us to stiffen and to tighten. So we can begin to feel sometimes that the quality of the movement changes, and the movement becomes a little bit more firm, a little bit more resilient. Careful not to get fixed on your arms and your hands. This time from the forwards position, don't let your arms swing back, just keep them in, feel how they're drawn up a little bit. You can imagine the ball underneath your arms, and you're just pulling on the ball, rolling it in towards your chest. In general, the less frantic we are, the more subtle the movements in our arms and our hands, the more we're likely to become aware of these subtle changes in the inner patterns of movement, and the more likely we are to bring a quality of intention to them. With this one, for instance, we're not having to strain in our arms or our back or our shoulders. We can just begin to be aware of this quieter movement, the expansion in belly, solar plexus and chest, rising up like a wave, pushing up underneath our arms, beginning to raise our arms a little for us. One more time. Now, turning your hands palm in, and this time just drawing your elbows apart, feeling this time quite a big expansion across your chest and ribs, which then contracts, drawing your arms in, and again, a bit more subtle expansion across your shoulder blades. This is pigeon spreads its wings. So working in this way begins to take some of the effort away from the exterior of the body, reducing strain and stiffness, encouraging that flow of energy all the way through the body. You see from the side when I do this one, my elbows and my hands don't go behind my shoulder. That would pull tight on the pectoral muscles and other on the ribs, and in turn that would put pressure on your lungs. With this movement here, you can just perhaps be aware of your breathing a little bit more, if that's comfortable for you. Seeing how your body's breathing, response to your movement. So this also means that the movement is quite strong, quite powerful. You're not just using your arms, you've got your weight moving forwards and backwards, you've got these patterns of movement, flow of the energy within your body, really from the soles of your feet upwards, but perhaps most noticeable in your upper body at this point. Trying not to lose that awareness of what's happening in hips and legs and feet there. This time, as you come back, elbows still go out a little bit, but your hands stay in line with your hips, turning, pressing forwards, feeling how your arms just gently swing up. Again, from the side, notice the shape of the arms as though the movement forwards pushes your elbow forward, so you're not having to lift your hands. So the sort of effort that we make, and it is quite a lot of effort, but it isn't the sort that might cause a stiffening in the body, because that stiffening will block the flow of the movement. We begin to recognise this pulsing, rhythmic pattern, movement, flow of movement, underlying, governing all the other movements, including things like our circulation. So we start to get this awareness of the energy moving through the body, and an ability to bring a sense of intentionality to that movement in one way or another. Now combine this with the stepping that we did earlier, so extend one foot and plant it, wait until the foot's in position, move forwards, coming back. So when we step out with a foot like this, we extend the range of that foundation, and so we begin to extend the range of movement all the way through our body. We can go just a little bit further because we've still got the support of this foot. So posture is a key element in creating an environment within our bodies that enables this harmonious flow of movement, of energy. That in its turn is one of the sort of key benefits of the art. In Chinese medicine, the flow of that energy is seen as one of the key elements in our well-being. One more time on each side. Always remembering to bring your attention inwards and downwards into our feet. This time, coming back, rolling your hands into a hollow fist, a space in between your fingers, push forwards, rotating your arms, turning your hands palm down, and as you come back, elbows coming in towards your hips, your arms rotating upwards. Punch with both fists. Feeling that gentle push from your hips, coming up through your back, spiraling out through your arms. So that spiraling movement, just gently encouraging the flow of energy from your shoulders down into your wrists and your hands. In the forward position this time, unroll your fingers, but take your hands out, coming back, winding back and in, and then once again you press forwards. So again, we have that expansion and contraction in chest and upper back and elsewhere in the body. And now, from the rear position, turning your hands palm down. You turn, easing forwards, hips dropping back, and a gentle extension through your back and your spine, out through your arms. Turn towards the other side, draw back, contracting back in, polishing the tape. On the other side, in the other direction. Do one more in each direction. Now, letting your hands rest for a moment. Go back to this forwards and backwards movement, but gradually make it smaller. So we can still feel the engagement of our feet and our legs, but rather than alternating from one to another, we now start to feel that pattern of sort of sinking down, of compression and then releasing in both our legs, feet, as well as our hips, lower back, buttocks. So it's like we're almost like we're in water. When you drop down, you want to feel your centre of gravity dropping, and then like being in water which pushes you back up, you feel that rising movement, that rising energy coming up through your upper body. It's very subtle. If I did it too big, and this is too big, you'll see this kind of movement. But actually it's felt rather than seen. Bringing your hands around as though you're cradling a ball, and again, as your body expands, your elbows are pushed out, still feeling that downward push through your feet and your hips, so still feeling the connection to the ground, and then contracting. So the exercise is called rooting down. Rooting down is our centre of gravity dropping, and this is reinforced as we expand upwards because we're also expanding downwards. So we're maintaining and even deepening that connection to the ground. And then, of course, as we go down, a further sense of dropping. So this is very subtle, particularly in the chair. What won't be necessarily so apparent when you're in the chair is the significance of this for our posture and stability. Very simply put, the lower our centre of gravity, the deeper our sense of being rooted, the more stable we will be. One more time. And then rotating your arms so your fingers point away from your body, and expansion, pushing your arms out. Hands are spread out but slightly in front of your shoulders. Again, don't pull them back, don't have them too far forwards. This is the wild goose. So our chest maintains what is sometimes described as a concave feeling or an empty feeling. Not straining in chest, not straining in your back. And again, that allows this suppleness in terms of soft tissue of the body, in terms of even structures like our rib cage, and in the flow of the movement, suppleness of the movement itself. One more time, the wild goose. As your arms come down and drop all the way down, ease forwards, letting your arms swing in front of your knees. Sit back and again feel that push up, expanding, parting the clouds. Again, feeling the movement build from your legs into your belly, solar plexus, your chest. Don't go forwards this time. Let your hands drop down to your sides. Feel the weight of your body flowing down through your hips, weight of your arms hanging from your shoulders. And with the next feeling of expansion, focusing on one side, drawing your elbow up, elbow drawing your hand up, and then reaching up a little bit, wind around and pull down. Wait until you can feel the full weight of your arm on your shoulders again, feel your hips sinking in, and then on the other side. And draw down. This dragon plucks the stars from the sky. Try and avoid rushing from one side to another. However far you're moving, and this is a good exercise to just understand this, you should always feel you could have moved a little bit further. So I'm here, and again, this encourages a space within the body to allow that underlying pattern of energy to continue to flow. If I extend too far, if I go to here, I may get a nice stretch, but I'm also locking my body up. So going to 80% of the full movement. And that little moment of settling, feeling your weight in your hips, that connection downward to the ground, also an essential part of this movement. It just helps us to find again that sense of stillness in the mind, aware of our posture, and maybe even feeling that there's some adjustment that can be made there very quickly if it's required. And that's something that we want to apply in all of the movements. Bringing your hands to your sides now, lightly touching your sides. Lengthening gently through back and spine, feeling the energy of that, pushing your arms up as though you're pressing into a low ceiling. All the way back down, lightly touching your sides again, settling in, giving yourself a chance to be aware of your posture, and then pushing out so you can press the palms of your hands against the wall. Pushing in two directions. But this time, as you push out, turn a little bit in the centre of your body. Arms still push straight out from the shoulders. You're not twisting the back or your shoulders up. Turn in the other direction. And back. And then push it out sideways. So starting with the upward movement, this is now pushing in four directions. Again, you can imagine moving through water. Some people imagine that the air is a little bit thicker than normal. So another image that encourages this slightly stronger, more resilient quality in the movement without being required to stiffen, to tighten in muscles and joints. One more round. This time, as your arms push out, extend one foot again, rest it on the heel, knees still a little bit bent, turn your hands palm up, ease forward, your hips pulling you back, the back lengthening gently, scooping the sea, and then you get pulled back into your chair. And the movement rising, pushing your arms over, looking at the sky. Don't go too far back. And certainly don't go too far forwards. You don't want to get stuck down there. So try and have a sense for how far you're able to move without causing extra strain for your body. This time, once again, a hollow fist. And this time, as you go forward, your head is projected upwards. That draws your arms over in the movement, grasping the tiger's ears. One more time. Changing sides. The quality of the movement can be described by that image of moving through water, but also described as though your body were being very gently massaged internally. And that can be useful because when we lose that quality, We know that maybe we've gone too far, we've made a mistake in the movement. Feeling that this leg as well, the leg flat on the floor, is helping to push you back up. So never losing sight of that view of the body as one unit that works together. And then grasping the tiger's ears. And that sense of a gathered mind and body that comes out of that is, again, I think, one of the great benefits of the art. One more time. And come back and just sit for a moment. And particularly in the upper part of the body, just have a sense of this spacious, supported posture. Maybe aware of your breathing or other movements within your body that are enabled by the posture. Because these are qualities that we look for when we come to the standing. Once again, rubbing your hands together, preparing to stand now, and tapping over your face. Over your head and neck, down to one shoulder and your arm, and the other side, upper part of your chest, and then down to your belly and your legs. And then pushing your heels up. And circling around. And back the other way. Now come into standing. So same principles apply. It's going to be different structurally, obviously, because you haven't got the chair there anymore. And one of the key things to recognise is that that foundation is now a bit smaller, and it's totally to do with your feet. So have your feet below your hips, don't have them too close together. And try and have your weight a little bit forward in your feet and let your hips drop back. So now, rather than the upper body angled forward, you've got this more or less straight line from your head down into your feet. So gravity and your weight flow down nice and smoothly. Let your hips drop back just a little bit more, and then feel your legs expanding, your upper body expanding as you feel yourself being pushed up. Again, it's like being in water, dropping down in the water and then feeling yourself being pushed up. Bringing your hands around as though you're cradling the ball, and the standing version of the exercise, rooting down. Remember, we want our centre of gravity to drop. The lower your centre of gravity, the more stable you are. So again, posture and alignment have a very practical quality to them. It's the expansion and contraction in your legs that provides the energy in the upper part of your body to move with. You find that your breathing just naturally harmonizes with the movement. Rotating your fingers out, the standing version of the wild goose. Feeling the movement starting in your feet, coming up through your legs to your hips, and up through your back, your belly, your solar plexus, and finally into your arms. And then standing version of parting the clouds. Remember, don't let your hands go too far. Keep them slightly in front of your body. You can feel almost as though your arms are floating upwards. Try not to strain in your shoulders. Good. And then just shake out. Changing the stance. Keeping the width of your step. Turn one foot out. Step forward with the other foot. So now we've got a bigger foundation. Notice you can see the space between the background, between my legs. So we don't want to stand like this because now we start to feel as though we're trying to balance on a log or something. So we've got that wider foundation. And we start to move the weight again, this time from foot to foot. Giving ourselves a moment just to settle in each leg, to feel that compression. Remember I said it was like dropping down into water and pushing up again, but this time, rather than allowing ourselves to be pushed up, we're intending to move our weight forwards and backwards. Moving from the ground, not leaning, straining in the upper part of the body. The stability comes from your alignment, correct posture, and the root. An essential aspect to our mobility, this. When you go into your back foot, you raise your front toes and you feel yourself sit back just a little bit more. You now have the front foot slightly turned out. You go forwards, push the back knee in, heel comes up. So what happens is gradually you start to find your root, your alignment over one leg. So just cast your mind back to when you're in the chair and those qualities that we noted of the posture in the upper part of the body when we have the support of the chair. The openness, the spaciousness, the sense of movement. And try and just see if you can find that again. But it's obviously going to be more difficult. Going into your back foot, bring the front foot in, step out, put the heel down, lower the ball of the foot, press in, planting the foot. Bring your back foot in, and this time it's the ball of your foot that goes down first, then your heel. And then put the other foot forwards. Same thing, first of all, without stepping. and then heels and toes rising, finding your root and alignment through one leg, not straining, not stiffening, which pushes the root up. So we align ourselves, we root down, so that rather than fighting against gravity, we start to move with the pull of gravity. And that's when we can begin to be able to step in. And then take a few steps through. Going back. So now, coming back into this stance, have your right foot forward so you can mirror my movements, and going into the standing version of fisherman castanet. Again, most of the time, arms are trailing behind your shoulders and hips. They swing through gently as you settle into the neck. Don't overextend your arms. If you move your arms too far, that starts to pull your whole posture out of line. Wave-like flow through your body. Remember that quality of movement. Bring that back to your awareness. And this time, go forward, settle into the front foot, and as your arms swing through, just turn. So you change the direction through the movement in your hips and your waist. Same thing as you go back. So your arms drop down as you go forwards. And then as you sink into the leg, you feel the expansion. Just directing the movement through the centre of your body. This is wind blows the willows. Good. Now change over, have the other foot forwards. Start with fisherman castanet, and again just trying to feel that sense of your whole body moving as one unit. Feeling, as a result of that, the movement, the energy from the soles of your feet to the tips of your fingers, flowing harmoniously through your body. And here, just add in, turning your center, going into wind blows the willows. And combining this with the stepping, so you go forwards or backwards depending on where you have the room. I've got to go forwards. Go into the leg, bring the empty foot in. So dragonfly skims the water. Step through. Same thing on the other side. And what you may find you can do, and don't do this if it feels uncomfortable, is just raise the leg. If you're finding that when you raise the leg you're having to strain, it's actually better to keep your foot down, to keep the quality of movement in your body, keep that softer, more supple quality in the soft tissue of your body, rather than fall into the habit of straining. And then going back, changing direction. One more time. And then just move your feet back. Shake out. And go back to your chairs. And then again a comfortable posture. Supported by your feet, by the chair and by your back, letting your hands drop down to close, pushing your arms out. This is embrace tiger, return to mountain. Bring them around so you're holding the ball against your chest, drawing your hands in, and then let you feel your hips drop in, shoulders drop in, hands following, everything just coming nicely downwards, settling. And then once again, push your arms out, bringing them around, drawing in, and again, this smooth flowing movement downwards through your body, leaving you with a feeling of an open, spacious quality in the upper part of your body, very calm in your mind. One more time. And then rest. And open your eyes. Lovely, thank you very much everybody. I hope you enjoyed that, and as always, please do get in touch with questions or comments, but she'll leave you with that. Bye bye for now.